Welcome to Vintage Gaming Memories. Shall we play a game?
I've got a secret I've been hiding under my skin.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video I have one half of a package that's still left to be explored. Let me explain what I mean. So back in June of this year I made a video on a 40-plus-year-old Atari Club mug and a limited edition Atari 50th anniversary watch. These were from two different sellers. However, the watch also had another item in the box that I didn't go over. And that item is in this box still. And here it is. This is the book titled Video Games Secrets. And it has a really nice catchy one-liner after the title with "the book they don't want you to see." So come on, doesn't that intrigue you to wonder what's inside this book? The seller that I purchased this from was actually the author of this book too. And that would be John Blane Hartleb. I've purchased a number of items from his collection and I've also made videos of them too. For example, these cardboard Atari 2600 gaming posters that I have hanging up in my game room. The Bandai Galaxian handheld game. This rare vintage Atari backpack. And also this rare Hanamex Destroyer handheld game are just some items I was fortunate to get from his collection. And as for this book, it's in new condition. I think it came out, I want to say 2024. What do we see inside? Well, we see a copyright 2010 to 2023 reference. And this book actually pretty easy read just from thumbing through it. Font size, and it's 84 pages. So that's good. I think this book is going to be really interesting since I value the art of collecting and repairing vintage handheld games. I've only been at it with the vintage handheld games for about 3 years, but on the Atari side, I've been at it since 1981, with probably about a 10-year gap during that time frame. So the vintage handheld games are definitely new to me, which I'm hoping I get something out of this book to add to my knowledge. And who knows, maybe it'll help me find some hidden gems out there. And like I said, the book is 84 pages, so I should be able to get through this pretty quick. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut for a second so I can read through this book. And then I'll be right back to give you my Cliff's Notes, and we'll go from there. All right, I have to say, this was a pretty good read. Now, just like I've always done with my other book reviews, out of respect for the author's work, I can't give out all the details, but I will touch on some key points and some cool information I noted in this book. So first, let's get the key objectives out. There are 4 key objectives that are focused in this book for handheld games. 1, how to collect them. 2, how to find them. 3, how to fix them. And 4, what to watch for and avoid. Now here's my take with collecting these vintage handheld games. I consider there's 3 high-level categories that you could group collectors in. There's the collector who just wants to get the game to play it and then maybe relive their childhood or just see what all the fuss was with it back in the day. So they really don't care too much of the condition as long as it's in working condition. Then there's the collector who wants it to be pristine and kind of like new old stock. Basically, they want it as if it was brand new and never played or opened. So the box and all that came with it should be included. Most likely, this collector probably wouldn't even take the game out and play with it. Probably treat it like a museum piece. Then the third category is the collector who wants the game to work and look almost like new. He or she will play it, but also care for it as if it were brand new. Now, the box and all that were included when it was new. It's nice to have, but it's not necessary. Now, that's the category that I believe I fall in. I won't pass up a really decent rare game if it doesn't have a box. Now, there's actually a couple of times that I can recall where I upgraded a game that I already had by buying another one that might be in better condition. I then end up selling that former game when I do that because I don't want to collect more than one of the same game. I wanted to lay out those types of collectors because when you read this book, some of the stuff may not be as important or apply to you because you might fall in one of those categories. So, for example, in the book, it mentions the Holy Grail would be a game that's sealed and not opened because it might grab the most money. But your Holy Grail might be a game that's open and you just have no problem paying top dollar for it because you might have a fond memory of it, or maybe you've been looking for it for quite some time. And on that topic, the book does state that having games from one's past that relates to their childhood can easily drive the price. That's exactly what I've been saying from day one on my channel. I started this channel to relive my vintage gaming memories, but to also see if it might bring passion and maybe memories to you all as well. So now, where do you start with a collection? The book does focus on perhaps going with one group or maybe one brand at a time. And it actually makes sense. So I use that approach with getting those special sets of games where I know if I don't focus on completing the entire set, I just may stray away and never complete it and just totally forget all about it, which I am very guilty of. Now, he also mentions that there are some rare games that he has actually collected and that he believes to be probably the top ones that are out there. So I'll show some pictures if I can. And that would be Mattel's Ski Slalom, Entech's Black Knight Pinball, Mattel Missile Attack, and Entech's Adventure Vision. None of those I have, but there are a couple games that I have that are similar to the shell of, I believe, the Ski Slalom, which I'll give you an example right here. There's just a lot of good advice throughout this book, like not passing up games that are listed as not powering up, because you never know. It might be really easy to fix it, and you may get a bargain there. That I totally agree. Now, on the other hand, I'm also on the same page with games to pass up on, which are those with missing battery covers, broken items on it, or even the plastic being cracked a little bit or a lot. Now, even corrosion or missing battery terminals could be a huge red flag, and that's something I really live by when I look for games. If I find that, I just really don't want to mess with it because you just never know how bad that corrosion might have seeped into the inside. So I stay away from those as well. Now, there is a section in the book on how to find games that's really good. It kind of mentions how you can type certain keywords for searches on eBay, and then also try not to limit your searches within your country only, because there's a lot of items out there outside of your current country. And I've noticed that if you don't mind paying a little bit extra, getting some shipment from across the globe, it might be well worth it. You never know what hidden gem there might be out there. And then he also follows up on bidding and making offers. There's about 15 pages that you'll find a nice summary of his top games that he's collected in his lifetime, as well as the 10 most valuable video games ever. Number 1 being Gamma Attack for the Atari 2600. Supposedly only a couple dozen were ever sold, which makes it one of the rarest ever. Now, once you get the game in your hands, you're going to probably have to fix it, possibly. Maybe not, if you're lucky. So he also covers that in the book, too, with various supplies, tools that you may need, like a heat gun, soldering iron, multimeter, Q-tips, cleaning products, and even a Dremel for sanding. I'm happy to say that I can check off all those products in my workshop, but I would also suggest a microscope like this one, which is great for those extremely tight spaces to work on the inside of the game. And it's really not that expensive when you really consider how it lessens the strain on your eyes, and it does provide more nerves of steel when you're doing some of that precise work, especially when you're soldering on the PCB or looking at or trying to find something that's wrong with the board, or maybe a wiring or whatever it may be. Just having that microscope zoom in for you on a big screen is really nice. Now, the last part of the book is on fakes and being aware of those sellers that may appear suspicious. That's right over here. So you really need to be sure to read everything carefully on a listing, and then once you get the item, open it up quickly. That's something that I need to work on. All right, I think I hit on all the key points. 1, it's a good book. 2, it's an easy read. And 3, it doesn't cost that much, so I'd recommend it. If you're interested, you can find it on eBay from other sellers as well. Check it out. I don't know if he's selling this anymore, but you can always try that website that's listed on the bottom there, blanehartleb.com. Thanks again for checking out this video. I really appreciate your time. And remember, keep your gaming passion from the past alive by living it today. Take care, everyone.